Greetings, community, and welcome to Antiquarian Comics and another edition of this week's signed books. And hey, this week's signed books were by two individuals that I was one greatly looking forward to seeing, and two, a second, which was the first one that I actually met. I was looking forward to seeing since the last time I saw, which was at Revenge of Comics and Pinball, which is an event that in which that we had. Man, it must have been like 24 writers, artists, contributors in many different ways, meaning different forms of illustrators, editors, publishers. It was so awesome. So, again, to see some of these individuals was just kind of a reunion. I know I'm being a little vague and I don't want to quite get into it prior in which that I want to acknowledge those decide they want to hang out with me on the live. So, hey, Las Cruces, dude, if you don't get that award for being the first person to show up and number one supporter and all that stuff by CBCA, I it's going to be close between only a handful of people. So, one, I greatly appreciate you being here, and two, yeah, it'd be nice to see you get the award. Just saying. Two, me, dude, and as a recent supporter of mine, you've been probably one of my main handfuls of supporters that have been with me probably in the past 24 lives / shorts that I've been doing. You're always there. You're always commenting, and I always appreciate you being here, buddy. Seriously. Christina, you've been dancing with me for quite some time. Most people have no idea what this means and why we do this, but hey, it doesn't matter, does it? You and I do, and that's all that matters. And I appreciate you being here, Christina. Seriously. And yeah, how about we go ahead and get into some stories, huh? So check this out. This week, there was a signing event happening at a place that's unfortunately going to be closing down soon. The real estate in our area, in which that I live in California, is extremely high. One of the shops that had closed near me was a place called Jeffrey Comics. They were the longest running comic book shop here in LA. They've been open since I want to say the late 70s or something like that, maybe early 80s. They were closely followed by another shop called Bob's Comics. That was the place that I was first introduced to comics. And what I'm really getting at is the reason why Jeffrey's had to shut down, which was only in the last year. They were paying, I think it was $4,500 a month in rent. And they only had an area that was, I don't know, maybe 1,700 square feet as far as the flooring was concerned and being able to utilize as far as sales. I know this is long-winded, but what I'm getting at is Earth to Comics has been around for quite some time in the Ventura area. They were the ones that, as many shops do, support artists, writers, editors, all kinds of different forms of nerds, geeks, and different ways to allow them to be able to be creative. So when they do have some forms of downtime, they're still in an environment that still allows them to be in a muse environment, something that still allows them to be able to still, you know what I mean, be pumped, man. That's what we do, is we like hanging out with fellow nerds and geeks, and this is what allows us to go ahead and be creative in our own different ways. So one of which that I met was an individual named Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, I first met when the Usagi Yojimbo relaunch was done on IDW some 5 years ago now. It's almost been exactly 5 years. And I was really taken back by this individual. He's not only really talented, but somewhat reserved when you first meet this individual. You can see that he's not necessarily comfortable with big crowds, though you can see that he's an individual that likes being personable. So I was able to kind of knock down a little bit of his defenses, talk to him a little bit. And I personally, I can see who he was inside. What little time that I got to spend with him, again, some 5 years ago, I really was stricken by who and how he was as an individual. And I really hoped that he would go far in his endeavors. However, I didn't really see anything that was being taken up by him as far as his works. In 1-2 Comic Talk, I had interviewed numerous amount of artists, creators, and I've made recommendation of Chris Johnson to people that were looking to work with a different form or a different artist, or a lot of times, as I always say, it's rarely the job, it's the people. Someone that can jive with, and someone that might have been new. So I recommend Chris many a times, but now fast forward, here we are with an image release called Rifters. This came out just this Wednesday. Allowed me to see Chris some 5 years later, and I not only had him sign the book for me then, but I also spoke to him how Jason Aaron is going to be coming in our area and we'll be launching Turtles again. And I know that Chris had worked with Turtle Works before. Wasn't certain that he's reached out, which we were in talks about how he really hasn't, but they haven't really necessarily reached out to him either. But I made mention that I would like to see him show up at one of the events where he and I just lost my brain. Aaron could go ahead and get together and speak. So I was hoping that, these two could actually get together and speak. I know I'm being long-winded, but I just want to know, I just wanted you to know, and as I've always said before, the big thing about me getting signatures on my books outside of the obvious is the fact that I love speaking to these individuals, and especially when not at a con style event, but at a, an individual store that you can support the store, which that's where I bought my books. But it was a store in which that supported the creators. So in the case of this, that's where Chris Johnson was working for many years. That's where he was able to be supported, to be able to do his works, and that in part just by hanging out with comic creators and so forth is amusing in and of itself, outside of the obvious of just being stricken to go ahead and work on something. So it was not only awesome to see him, it was great to talk to him, and hopefully, maybe, we'll see whatever happens with, possibly a development on some Turtle stuff. I asked him to go ahead and be there, if nothing else, just to draw me a picture of Raphael so I can go ahead and have it slabbed when Mr. Aaron shows up and, does some work. So let's go ahead and get back to what I was talking about. I want to show you the book that Chris is working on. It's called Rifters. I did buy 2. This is kind of his style, you know what I mean? I would open it, but I'm not going to. I do recommend it in the sense of I've already heard some pretty decent reviews. This isn't just mine. So before and with it, I recommend that you go out and buy it. Why don't you check out a couple reviews and see if it's something for you? It's definitely something for me, and I'm looking forward to getting this after 5 years. I'm dying to see what how Chris has developed. I got to talk to him because I do know that he, on a personal level, recently got married. I congratulated him. It's only been since September that he's been married, and he's still enjoying, how should I say, the whole, the newlywed feel of the marriage. And yeah, I can totally tell he's in a honeymooner phase, and I know they've been getting together for a lot of years, and I even believe well before I met him some 5 years ago. So yeah, I was just congratulating him. Tongue. And yeah, I can just totally tell he's just still in that enamored ether. All right, outside of that, I ended up meeting, as I mentioned before, Jerry Duggan. He was at Comics. It's a Revenge Comics and Pinball. This place is really awesome because when you walk in, it's kind of a 3-stage place. So you first walk in, and it's mapped out in a way. It's a maze, unless you walk through the back entrance, which is an open corridor and picnic area. I'll get to that in a moment. When you walk off the street and you walk through the front, You walk through one aisle, and it forces you to walk through this little maze area, which forces you to walk through all the books. It's pretty smart. Think about it. And then you end up at the counter. Now, it's not just one way. They're open, but it just guides you that way. You can actually walk and cross and then, and go down each aisle. With the natural flow of it, the way they designed it, they purposely staggered it just a little bit so it just makes you kind of walk through it all. Again, brilliant as far as marketing. Then you end up at the counter, and the counter naturally kind of blends into a whole wall of pop stuff, which guides you over to the pinball area. Seriously, this whole corridor opens up into a gigantic room, and it's just nothing but pinballs. All the theme is, nerdy geeky stuff. It's either comic related or cartoon related or cartoon related. And a lot of times it's, Simpson stuff, things like that. It's just really cool. So there's probably a row of 15 on one side, a row of 15 on the other side, and you go in the next room, and guess what? Yeah, it's a whole nother room of pinballs. They end up holding pinball tournaments there once a week, and they have just men's, just women's, and then they have these things usually go into like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's so, place is off the hook. They got an area that also opens up. They got some snacks there. And it goes into a whole another area of more comics and pops and stuff like that. But that's all the back issue stuff. Excuse me for a moment. That also leads out into outside. Outside, it opens up to probably, I don't know, 1900 square feet of just open area. And there's probably 5 or 6 picnic tables there. And there's like a small stage area. Wow, something's dying in here. Reading in my throat. And yeah, so again, I lost my brain. I was just telling you about that place. I highly recommend if you want to check it out. If you live in the area, Eagle Rock, I highly recommend that also area because they got a lot of neat things, culturally speaking, neat things to enjoy. Now, again, so I met Jerry and I got to speak with him last time, and this time I just kind of, I don't know, nerded out and zoned out. And once I started talking, I just kind of shut up. And then I started throwing a bunch of books at him. My brain went away. I wanted to tell him how I was looking forward to some of the things that was coming up that he was working on, symbiote related. I know the summer of symbiotes is coming. I just wanted to talk to him about so many things and thank him for a lot of the stuff that he did for me in the past as far as the signatures. As much as I'm talking to you right now, I just clammed up then. It was embarrassing. But anyways, it was awesome to see him again. And then I end up telling him that I look forward to seeing him in roughly about a week. And then he replied, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, when you go to the We Can Be Heroes, aren't you going to be there?" And he replied, "No." Well, they reached out. No. I'm like, oh, fuck. So not only did I throw an egg on my face, but then I ended up throwing both feet in my mouth. And I couldn't stop embarrassing myself. I was short of just basically taking off my clothes and running down the street in Ventura. That was kind of about where I was at. Oh, man. As you can totally see, I'm far from valuable. I can't even say the word, but you know what I mean. And, the experience overall was awesome because, again, these people are there to not only promote a business that was slowly going out. They're not only there to promote some works that, unfortunately, people don't read tangibly as often as they used to. But I hope I, if nothing else, I provided some entertainment and broke up the day because, wow, I think I made an impression of nothing else. And so people usually make reference of just good or bad. I want to say mine was definitely in the unique category. So let's get the books. All right. I can just keep talking, but other than that, hey, Jigs, I hope you are well. I saw that you had a good time. What looked to be a good time hanging out with Chris26 at the con. And yeah, man, I look forward to hearing your debrief on your time at the con. But hey, all right. So this is what I got from Jerry. This is his new book. He ended up telling me that he was surprised that he wasn't hearing that much news about this book, being that it did sell out. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, everything that I have left is what you see in front of me. And my brain was clicking. All the gears were thinking, do you want to go in the spec mode and just go, I'll take it all? Or do you want to be cool and go, look, support this guy. You're really early on in this signing event. Why don't you give other people a chance to go ahead and pick up his stuff and enjoy it? So that's what I did. I'm like, I can't be that guy and go. So I got one book. So yeah. So Jerry Duggan ended up signing that for me. And let's go ahead and go through all the stupid stuff he signed for me. Now like Minnie, I have a lot of books. I could have went there and got really dumb. However, I was really genuinely thinking that he was going to be at another place. So I ended up not bringing, a few more things that I normally would have. But that being stated, let's go ahead and get into, all right, Cable issue number 1 of the 2020, I think that's when this thing came out. So he signed that for me. And 2. And 3. Oh, no, that was it, right? I got the ratio for this Marvel Zombies. Yeah. Sick. All right. There we go. Now there's the 3. Which I think 2 is a key. 2 or 3. Can't remember which one. Tell me out. Tell me in the chat. You know better. 4. I think, yeah, 6 is where, and I stopped at 6. That's right here. And that's where he meets his future self. So I stopped there on those. Because I didn't want to hit him with every single one of my, run of it. But what I did hit him with hard is I end up hitting him with my Free Comic Book Day books. One of which I already put away because it was from another year. But I did get 2022 signed. And I just got, just one of them. You're probably like, really? Just one? But this is the first appearance of Bloodline, all right? So I end up getting a few signed. A lot. I got a lot signed. Yeah. So in this, I did get some 9/8s, in my opinion. I think I got like 4 of them, and a 9/6, a 9/4. I think I got like 2 9/2s. So I know I'm gonna end up probably, hey, keep your notification bells on. Just saying, because I definitely will be giving out 2 of these 9.2s signed by him. Because who needs 8 copies? I'm just saying, right? Right. Right. I'm just that's what I'm saying. So I'll probably end up giving out 2 pretty soon. So that I end up getting the Cable, his brand new book. I got Chris's brand new book, Rifters. All the Free Comic Book Day 22 and 23. And yeah, that was it. Now I am going to end up seeing Sabir Pirzada. I purposely did not have him sign a couple books when I last saw him with Iman Vellani. And the reason why is the guy at the door, because of how the line was, and I told them they didn't really set it up right, and I knew this was going to happen, was that there wasn't going to have the ability to get everyone through. So they were thinking, well, if they just do 5 signatures, being that I set my stuff up is the way I do, I end up sneaking in like 3 signatures of hers. And the guy at the door realized that I have my, stuff together so well that he jokingly was like, hey, And then when I look back over, he's like, it's cool. However, what I did to make sure the line did run after she signed him is I told Sabir, I'm like, dude, I'll hit you up later, which will be this Wednesday. His new book comes out, and he's having essentially everyone that's working on the book there, meaning him as the writer. I think there's going to be the penciler, the colorist, and I think it's the penciler is the inker, or the inker is the colorist. I think there's going to be 3 of them there, and there might be, maybe it's broken down. I don't recall. However, I believe there's going to be 3 individuals there, maybe as many as 4. So there is where I'm going to end up having him sign stuff that Iman signed for me before. I know, I long wind stuff. Sorry. And then sign his new stuff there, and then I'll try to get whatever ratios there I can. Along with that, I'm going to take a store folio over to the shop where Aaron will be to do the signing event, to try to ensure that the books that I have pulled stay in a 9.8 fashion. So when I do go ahead and get them signed, get them slapped. Witness, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that works out. Wish me luck on that one. I'm going to try to get maybe around 3 or 4 covers signed. I know who that is looking for. 1 to be slabbed. I don't know if anyone else is out there. Hit me up on IG for those that know me. And we'll see how that event works out. Now, again, hopefully, a few days, I'll do another one of these things, and I'll be talking about Sabir and how that signing event went. Like I said, that was it. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me. God, I want to acknowledge those that hung out with me, which is Christine. Dude, you what? You the man. Yeah, you are number 1. Jegs, love you, brother. You stay well. I'll be seeing you soon. Agu, take care of that dog and that girl of yours, because everybody loves the women and the dogs. I think that's everyone that I can see at the moment. So if I missed anybody, I greatly apologize. And for me, to you, appreciate you being here and cruising on through. And that's it from me. Entropy. You stay well.